Japan never seems to change unless it's through overwhelming force. There maybe been two times in the history of Japan, more modern Japan, but in the relatively recent history of Japan, where the isolation of Japan was ended by the black ships of Commodore Perry. They appeared in the bay south of Tokyo, and that show of force made the people, the rulers, understand that there was no possibility of resisting. And so even despite the great strength of their will, the samurai will, the will of the I guess almost what Japanese people believe to be a divine gift or an ordination from heaven, and it succumbed and it acquiesced to the power of these ships. And the second time was at World War II, at the end of World War II, and with the Allied occupation. And at that time, reportedly, the Emperor had asked General MacArthur if he should order his subjects to become Christian, and General MacArthur said no. And that may not have been the wrong decision, but it was it's I guess the decision that was made, and it probably was the right decision, at least in terms of the things that God plans and allows. And in the current situation, there is no human way to change the spiritual nature of Japan, and that is despite human efforts and throwing oneself against the wall, and the wall, even after repeated onslaughts, may show only just a crack, but even that crack, when you come back, is gone, and that wall seems as strong as ever. And there is a role that people have, and there's a role that God has. And even if Japan is impregnable to human effort, and it can resist all human will, a combined human will, unified human will exercised to its utmost, even if Japan can resist that, it is not a task that will be accomplished by people, but by God, and by God's almighty power, by the power that to him is nothing that would be required, no taxing of his ability to do what is necessary, and that every demon in this country has only been allowed to exist and to exercise any influence with the consent of God, not probably unlike Job. And many times there's a lack of understanding that we might have about the way God does things and why he waits and what's going on. But we do know that, like the small cloud appearing on the horizon for Elijah, that the instruction Elijah gave to Ahab to begin to hasten and go down the mountain lest you get stuck in the rain, that the preparation for spiritual open heaven and the window of heaven to be opened by God in Japan, that we ought to hasten that preparation, because that rain will come, and in that day it will be good that we had understood in faith the timing that God has set for the opening of this country to the gospel of Jesus Christ and the salvation of the nation for his sake.